Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. My name again is Jeffrey Davis, and we are in the heat of the summer. And we mean that not just in terms of the weather, but also the economy and how things continue to change daily and weekly. My co-host for this segment is the one and the only Marc Z from Marc Z Legal Staffing. This is our regular segment on the law. Welcome back, Marc.
Jeff, great to be here. It's always exciting to have the best and the brightest attorneys in all different types of specialties on our show. I'm very excited about our next guest.
Great. Well, I'm excited too, and it's a first timer for a lot of things. Sara Kitaeff from the great law firm of Rubin and Rudman. Welcome, Sara.
Thank you. Good morning, Jeff and Marc. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today.
Great. Well, Sara, we're very interested in the law on Radio Entrepreneurs. I can barely touch an organizational client for me where I don't have to deal with attorneys. So, and in many different forms. So tell us a little bit about your practice.
Sure. I'm a partner in the family law department at Rubin and Rudman. It's a mid-sized firm with about 75 to 80 attorneys. We were founded in 1919, so we're not the oldest, but one of the oldest firms in the city. We specialize in a number of practice areas: litigation, corporation, real estate, employment, and of course, family law.
Wow. So were you always in family law? Was that your track right out of school into law, into practice?
Almost. So I graduated from Suffolk Law in 2011, and opportunities were few and far between at that moment in time. So my father happens to be a bankruptcy attorney and sort of led me in that direction for a very small period of time. I practiced bankruptcy on the North Shore for about a year, and then I moved into Boston and started practicing family law and have been doing it ever since.
Wow. Marc, I don't want to dominate. Do you have a question?
Yeah, first of all, Sara, congratulations. I know you are a partner at Rubin and Rudman and really taking their family law practice to the next step. One of the things I've been interested in, because I've sort of been following it in the recruiting space, are the real need for family law help, particularly coming out of the pandemic and continuing with the pandemic. A lot seem to have gotten delayed, and a lot of issues have unfolded that probably wouldn't have unfolded if we didn't have the pandemic. What have been your thoughts and your experience?
That could not be more correct, Marc. My practice generally focuses on divorces, and a lot of my expertise is on high conflict custody cases. A lot of families who were not yet ready to take that step and separate were then ready to during the pandemic, because as I'm sure many of our listeners can agree, it was tough to be stuck in quarantine with someone who, maybe you have a different view on parenting and your children are taking remote classes and a home becomes a little claustrophobic. So my firm and I were able to step in and provide a lot of invaluable assistance to families who were in need because they couldn't see eye to eye, as generally a result of their being forced to be at home within their four walls. Their lives were just completely different from what they're normally used to.
How did you handle it with, you're all of a sudden in the middle of some big cases and the court shut down and you're in negotiations, and all of a sudden there's a lockdown. And then there's obviously, even once things eased up, the courts were still closed. I mean, what kind of strategy, how were you able, I know you really do high-end sophisticated work. How did you deal with these, especially when you're dealing with human emotion?
One of the difficulties was the fact that the probate and family court prior to COVID did not have anything electronically available. So I had never heard of Zoom until March of 2020. But we were really quick to react. The court was very, very quick. We initially would have hearings and even some trials actually done on the telephone before the courts had Zoom system ready. And then in about the spring or early summer of 2020, everything was scheduled on Zoom. And I actually have to say, it became more efficient. So prior to COVID, we would have hearings scheduled at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and we would go and we would be sitting there twiddling our thumbs, trying to resolve a case and settle in a conference room, but we'd be waiting because the court would be filled with 20 to 30 cases at the same time. And with Zoom, everything was pretty much scheduled within half an hour. So we would know on any given Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that our hearing would be at 10:30 or 11 or 11:30. And so not only was it more efficient, but it was also a lot more cost effective. The worst thing is providing assistance to my clients in a way where the value of what they're fighting over, and this is not child's related, but in financial issues. And I do deal a lot with people who have recently received inheritances, which can substantially complicate the divorce process. When you're dealing with financial issues, I hate to see a client pay me more than the value of what they're arguing over.
Oh, that's depressing to hear.
Yeah. Yes. No, when they
You know,
inherited.
Sarah, I used to deal, as a consultant, and I've dealt with hundreds of companies. I never had a week that I didn't deal with conflict in, family business, spousal. But I don't go a day without hearing from spouses since COVID, or shareholders that are families. The conflict that is existing, the tension that exists. I've never seen anything like it. I see more in a month than I used to see in 3 years. And I don't see it letting up. I don't know about you, but it really is a source of concern for me.
It's tough. The economy is really affecting a lot of people in this country, a lot of people in Massachusetts. And when you have issues with your cost of living increasing and it's not matching what you're earning, and you have children who are going to school who cost a lot of money, and parents fighting about it, it's very, very high conflict. And I am really proud in what I do. I really feel as if practicing family law provides individuals and parents with the guidance and the opportunity to really take more control over the decisions that they make in terms of parenting their children and also financial decisions.
Sarah,
I'm sorry,
Jeff,
Marc, go.
No, I was just going to say is, do you find that the tool, because I understand one of the big tools for during COVID, besides, and it lines up with Zoom, is mediation. Do you find that mediation has helped? Because as Jeff and yourself were talking about, it's just the high conflict, just bringing things down, because it's a balance between having a resolution and at the same time cost. And a lot of times mediation, not that mediation is cheap, but it can be more efficient, cost efficient.
So I think mediation is fantastic, and it is a tool that I use in probably most, if not all, of my cases. I think it's a great way to try to resolve things when you know how far apart you are. It's usually something that I like to become involved in a little further along in a case where you can identify what the issues are. The probate and family court has a really great program in Massachusetts called the Judge Aber Conciliation Program. And we can actually request that a judge refer us to that program. And it matches us up with essentially a pro bono attorney to provide time to help mediate or conciliate a case. So it's a really, really great asset to have. When I'm dealing with, high profile or high net worth clients who might not necessarily qualify for that pro bono opportunity, I usually reach out to a selection of retired probate and family court judges because they have the experience from the bench and are able to really help narrow the issues and help direct the parties to figure out what would happen likely if we were to bring an issue in front of the court, and then we can resolve it outside of the court, which is not only more efficient, but substantially cost effective.
Well,
Great.
we're hoping, Sarah, that we can get you back again and talk about things. One of the things that I bring you back to talk about is what I'm seeing from baby boomers that are looking at potentially divorce and its potential destructive nature on a business, on a small family business. And so I think that's another issue. Just to let everybody know, we've been speaking with Sara Kitaeff, a partner at Rubin and Rudman. Sarah, if someone's looking to connect with you, how would they find you?
So my profile's on our website, rubinandrudman.com. But you can reach me at I'm sure my name will be available on the podcast. So my email is skitaeff@rubinrudman.com. And my office number is 617-330-7083.
Great. And Marc, how do people find you?
First of all, Google Marc Z, M-A-R-C, and the letter Z will come right up, or marczlegal.com, MARCZLEGAL.com, or the Radio Entrepreneurs website. Please go on that, radioentrepreneurs.com, or 617-338-1300.
And I'm just going to add a different note, if you don't mind, Sarah, because just this week, my book, The 24-Hour Turnaround, is 13 leading categories on the Amazon sales list in 3 countries. It's about 7 entrepreneurs who had to work their way through this bad economy and their stories, how they used ethics and compassion for their employees to really turn around their companies. So
congratulations, Jeff.
To take a look into that. Thank you very much.
That's
and remind
great.
everyone, this is Radio Entrepreneurs.